Wow. I really enjoyed We Stand on Guard this month. Um, Maybe because I've come to accept it for what it is. I think I was struggling with it earlier on. What kind of story are we reading? Now I'm viewing it. I'm ignoring political overtones for the moment, and I'm just viewing it as a huge action movie with a lot of intense, not entirely realistic violence and cool science fiction tech and stuff. And on that level, and it really maybe gelled as that kind of story in this issue. And on that level, I just had a really good time reading this issue with the beautiful art, beautiful coloring, um, every, Matthew, Brian K. Vaughan has such good timing and pacing in all of the comics I've read by him, and so that even even in a more basic kind of action thriller, works really well. So for this issue, I think for the first time in the whole series, I've just completely went with it. I was kind of resisting it because of my dislike of the idea of America versus Canada and America as horrible villain. But yeah, I wonder how they're going to end it. It seems like it would be, so unrealistic to have a happy ending for our Canadian heroes. But at this point, I really want it. I want the Arnold Schwarzenegger, Stallone kind of ending for the girl, the Canadian girl Amber. I think she may be the only one left alive now, really. I definitely want the bad guy, the African American black woman who African American black. Listen to me. The African American woman who seems to lead the entire U.S. Effort against Canada or against the Canadian rebels. We've had revealed, which I don't think we had before, that the U.S. has pretty much sucked dry major Canadian lakes and is now probably moving north to suck dry the further north lakes. I like the clever thing where if they blow them up where they are, they release arsenic into the water, poisoning it. Just little touches like that made this a lot of fun. And plus, just the great art, which, I don't know, it's a great teaming of colorist and artist. I don't think either one will particularly. I think I would like the art, but with a more traditional, regular colorist, I don't think the art would pop nearly so much. So it is really great that this artist is teamed up with this colorist. Okay, I'll be back later with another comic. So, Black Science, number 17. This was a fun issue. It was a very quick read. I really enjoyed the art. This is a great cover, too. Maybe I'm getting used to the colorist, Moreno Dionisio. I really missed Dean White at first. And maybe if I went back and looked at a Dean White issue, I'd still miss it. Or maybe a Dionisio has also grown as a colorist or grown into this assignment. I'm not sure. This is definitely a book that I really appreciate in the floppy version because of the great double-page spreads, which are unlikely to look nearly as good in a trade. And that seems to be one of Matteo Scalera's specialties. And luckily there's no ads here, so like most Image comics, no ads interrupt the flow of the story, so you can really get the most out of it. It did seem like there was a bit of an alignment problem, so that occasionally there's a little bit of image problems there, but it's still just fantastic art, fantastic layouts, fantastic inventiveness of this quirky little world that we find ourselves in, where everybody seems to dress up in these bird costumes, or maybe it's just Grant McKay dressed up in a bird costume, and other people actually are bird creatures. I love these floating alien snail-like creatures that follow people around and just ask them questions. Like one latches onto you, I guess, and follows you wherever you go. It just seemed like a brilliant touch. All the kind of mental stuff going on with Grant McKay was a whole lot of fun and made this, an interesting place to land the story in after kind of in the timeline of the story 3 years later. So I'm definitely very interested in what will happen next. Great flashbacks to his childhood. In typical Rick Remender style, everything is effed up, everything is unhappy, but in a colorful, imaginative, can't wait to see what will happen next way. I'd say my one, this is a bit of a spoiler, my one sort of moment of confusion is Grant McKay's brother shows up, and I don't remember a mention of a brother in any way. Am I forgetting something? Is this just a new element that Remender has added? So I feel a little cheated. Am I remembering wrong? Have we had the brother before? I just feel like we should have had someone else come along and rescue him. It would have had a greater impact for me. But the stuff that's revealed on the last page is very intriguing, and I'm really looking forward to Black Science again, which maybe for its first 8 or 10 issues was my absolute favorite book, month to month. Now I think it's been replaced by Tooth and Claw, Autumn Land's Tooth and Claw, but it's climbing back up into my top 5, I think, judging from this issue. Back in a bit with another comic. This is Godzilla in Hell number 4. I really enjoyed the first 3 issues. I think my favorite one was issue 3, but each one was kind of its own thing and pretty cool. And unfortunately, this one does not follow up from issue 3 in any way that I can tell. And it's just Godzilla having a fight in a walled city in hell, with 2 other giant monsters, and the fight's kind of cool, but it's just a silent fight with Godzilla fighting the 2 monsters, and the ultimate result, spoilers again, but don't you just love this handheld camera? It's very arty. The end result is that they blast a hole in the wall, and then I guess Godzilla goes through the hole? I don't even know. Godzilla kind of disappears. That's the whole issue. A fight, Godzilla maybe goes through the hole, or maybe just gets wiped away. It kind of looks like. Maybe someone who's seen the right movies. My memories of Godzilla movies are very distant. I have not watched one since I was a kid. So I don't know if there's references there, or maybe there's references to Dante's visions of hell. So you get kind of a cool fight scene and a hole blasted in a wall, and then Godzilla fades away, and that's it. And then it says, next issue. It also says, to be concluded. So I will pick up next issue, given 3 fun issues out of 4. I guess this was slightly fun, maybe 25 cents worth of fun out of $4. That's a pretty cool cover. I don't recognize that artist's signature, so I don't know who the next artist will be. This artist was Ibrahim Mustafa, who I feel I've read somewhere else, but I can't remember where. And he did a decent job. The coloring was pretty good by Marissa Louise, but I'm so used to such a high level of coloring in a lot of books that it was kind of just okay. So yeah, that was Godzilla in Hell, just okay. Grant Morrison's 18 Days. It's hard for me to completely give up on something that says Grant Morrison's, but I'm giving up on this. I read 5 issues, and the 5th issue was really dumb. I don't, that it's Grant Morrison, that it has Grant Morrison's name attached, so that's supposed to imply something. That it's about, mythological characters. That's also like should be a hot thing for me. But whatever happened in this issue, it was just dumb, dumb, dumb. And maybe, myths are dumb, done a certain way. And this brought out the dumbness of these myths. And I'm not gonna waste my time any further. So I've already dropped this from my pull list.